So wholeness, balance, and love. My name is Brother Rodney, and I'd like to welcome you all to July's One Mic, One Soul here at the Kula Cafe. Can I get a little round of applause? Little light, man, little love. Yes. I am the co-founder along with Brother Michael Mills of an organization called Konscious Youth Development and Service, and this is our monthly open mics. And before we get started, we want to give our gratitude and thanks first off to the Kula Cafe, Brother James, for being here each and every month, opening these doors. Clap it up, give them some love, man. Make them feel appreciated, you know what I'm saying? Along with the wonderful staff, a young queen, Raquel. She's also a support for our summer program that she helps us with, so give her some love too, yeah. Like, we're going to be clapping all night, just for a couple minutes, that's all, just for a couple of minutes. Also, thanks to Interfaith Neighbors, Paul McCleavely, man, they help us out, so much support, provided us for grant to help us run our summer program as well. And second to last, we got Dean's Natural Food Market. He gives us the organic energy bars, organic apples, and the free water to support and nourish you guys throughout the show. A nice, clean, healthy meal. Yeah, he gives us some love, man. And he also sponsors our meals for our summer program. So we get to feed 2 times a week organic, vegan, nutritious meals to the youth that we have in our summer program. And that's all off the heart of Brother Dean. So you may not see him a lot in the community, but he does support our mission and what we're trying to accomplish for these kids and help them bring a more healthy and brighter future for Big Up. And last but not least, welcome back. She's here every other month. Karen Haston and Asbury Park TV. Yes. You can also catch us on Cablevision and Verizon Fios, and for some reason she just bleeps out this part of the video and just puts a little bar across the bottom because I can never remember what channels that is on, you know, but it's on the channel 77?
Both, I don't know,
77 and 30 something, yeah, on Verizon Fios. 30 and 77, okay, Verizon Fios and Cablevision, so you can check out these mobile mic events, see them playing all throughout the day, and to grab tune and see what we all about. She makes us look beautiful. Hey, that's good too. Don't do it. No, I was joking. You can do whatever you want to. And yeah, man, so gotta give the gratitude. And for those of you who aren't aware of us, I see a lot of new faces in the building. We are KIDS, stands for Conscious Youth Development and Service. Our mission is to prepare and create future leaders through holistic interventions. So we're trying to bring balance to the body, the mind, and the soul, okay? So that's focusing on the diet and nutrition, the physical activity, more focused on the yoga, the mind-body connection, teaching these kids how to eat healthy and really gain healthy habits, because when you see what these foods do to our children, not just our children, but our community long-term, you see the effects, you see the illness, you see the sickness, you see the disease, and those are things that we have control of. So we can plant these seeds in these young little kids' minds. Imagine what kind of fruit they'll bear as they get older. Going into the mind, you know, going into the deprogramming and reprogramming, because you see the message society tries to put inside our children's head today. You know what I'm saying? From the media, from the movies, from the TV, from the music, everything that we watching is constantly trying to hijack their way of thinking. And look at these kids who have no guidance and see what thoughts come inside of their souls, and realizing that we must show them what must I read, what must I watch, what must I converse about to see what's going to make me into the best I can be in my journey, okay? And lastly, going back to the soul, that's such a beautiful, important thing, man. Some of the events that we've been through in our life, the various traumas, the different events that have caused a little bit of pain, if we don't learn how to deal and cope with that pain, it's gonna manifest in other ways to help us deal and cope with that pain. And that could be sometimes could be the violence, the drinking, the drugs, things that we look to bring that pleasure back, but the reality is it's not allowing us to grow to our full potential. So recognizing through the meditation, through the mindfulness, through the deep breathing, through the yoga practices, showing these kids how to regulate their nervous system, to bring back the ways, the ability to think cognitively, using their functioning of thinking critically about different things instead of being constantly in that state of trauma that's not allowing them to process how they really feel. So through the meditation and breathing, it helps them tremendously, and that's what we're doing. And we have a wonderful crew tonight, and a lot of these kids are from our summer program that we're running, an 8-week summer program. Raise your hand if you're part of the Journey Summer Program real quick. Yeah, that's you too, Jaja. Yeah. And if you like the shirt we got on, listen, we just got them in. Me and Brother Mike are the models for today, and it says the journey starts within, you know, and it's teaching these kids that the world outside we can't always control, but this world inside here, inside my heart, within my consciousness, could change how I approach these situations. And if I can remain balanced internally, no matter how chaotic the world is outside, I could then bring forth a more conscious awareness to bring forth that change and to bring forth that balance. So we're about to start this show off. We have a tradition we started for about the last 4 months. has been opening the show. And this guy, I don't know why, but they mistaken him as being me and me as being him. The kids call me Mr. Mike, they call him Mr. Rodney. I'd like to welcome to the stage my supposedly soul brother. Everybody give some love for Mike, the real deal Mills.
Peace and love, everybody. Thank you for being here. Without you, there is no us, so we definitely appreciate it. We definitely appreciate the young ones in the room. This is a vision over a couple of years, just to see you guys and us to give you positive energy and be here, those little embarrassing smiles. So, don't worry, you're gonna be up here soon. So Rodney mentioned a lot. We're doing a lot. One thing I do want to mention is we're resending out our 501c3 application. We sent it out about a month ago. We got it sent back to us. Small formalities we need to correct, but we'll send it back out with those corrections, and then we'll get moving. And once we have that 501c3, sky's the limit. So we're looking to really maximize our impact in this community and touch as many youth as possible. So that should be coming on soon. And yeah, just be on the lookout. Doing a lot of partnerships here and there. So without any further ado, my first poem I'm going to start off with is called Beyond. And I wrote this, I stumbled into an open mic over in Belmar, and the open mic was more like background music. I was up there, everyone was talking, they were eating, and no one was looking at me. So I was like, I'm here, but this is called Beyond. Look at me. Look at me and tell me what you see. Look at me. See me, understand you can't understand me, accept me, appreciate me, cherish me for what you see, for what you don't see. Look at me. I'm a natural spring of pure love. Don't see my only intention is love. Do you see the green lantern glowing in my chest? Do you see the light illuminating so bright? The sun, the stars, the moon, and night are within me. Do you see me? Look at me. Look at me. See me, but don't see me. Love me. Love me for what you see. Love me for what you don't see. Love me for me. Look at me. Look beyond what the eyes can see. Look beyond what the ego can see. Then you will see, and you will see me. Look at me. Thank you. And it's crazy because it came just like that. Like, look at me. And I was just like, yeah. This next poem is about my Friday nights from this last month for the first time. This is called Friday Night. Yeah. Tonight will be different. Tonight I am infant. Tonight is dedicated to you. Excuse me. I meant to say I. This is not a Friday night going out, this is a Friday night going in. I'll spend the evening with my lover, best friend, and kin. Tonight I will cater to me, myself, and I. It's been eternity since the last time. Our conversation will be the best. One that will put me, myself, and I to the test. Me will begin with theories of revolution as the only evolution. Myself will contest that the main issue is Mother Nature, so we must address environmental pollution. And I will trump all, saying we have lost the essence of our soul and the revolution should be to return to our natural home. Then we will tune into our vision. Not television, but the vision aligned with the mission of following a guiding light through intuition. Dream wise, because this is a place where dreams become fruition, thoughts become decision, and our actions reflect ambition. Tonight, I will be poetry. A dedication to love, quiet the mind, let inspiration rise above. I'll write about the first time I fell in love with myself. Better late than ever, I was once told that patience is fully understood when you realize you are forever. Time is no factor because there's a journey that brought us together. Tonight, I'm going within, and the words you hear are a reflection of my soul. Tonight will be different. Tonight, I am infant. Tonight is limitless. Tonight is infinite. Thank you. And this last poem I just finished yesterday. Performed it last night for the first time. I stumbled a couple of times, but I'm gonna give it to you guys. I trust that it will be there. It's called Be Careful Who You Ask. She was born in demise. She spent her life in the shadow of lies, never knew her father, mother worked double shifts so she was never home. She was forced to roam the streets to learn love on her own. Seeking emotional attention, sex became her only source of affection. Absorbing the pains of temporary connection, constantly left alone, tears drowned in her own reflection. That's when she found her way to me and asked the question, do you think I'm beautiful? I paused to ensure I answer this question right, because the next set of words can change the course of her life. Decisions. Do I stay true to my belief or feed her addiction? Do I tell her the fatal truth or refill her prescription? No answer would be correct in either perception, so I answered the question with a suggestion. My dear beloved, close your eyes and look into the mirror and ask, do I think I'm beautiful? And this is not a yes or no question, so please continue to question. Do I treat myself beautiful? Do I carry myself beautiful? Do I see myself beautiful? Do I appreciate my beautiful? Do I accept my beautiful? Do I love my beautiful? Do I call myself beautiful? Again, this is not a yes or no question, so please continue to question until you realize there's no question. My dear beloved, close your eyes to look into the mirror and say, I am beautiful. And no matter how many people answer that question for me, it doesn't change how I feel for me. My worth is within me. My love is within me. My beauty is within me. And no one can take that from me. Yes. Thank you.
Everybody give some love for the brother Mike one more time. I don't know, man. Something about them words that hit me right here up in my soul. Y'all feel that? Y'all feel it? Y'all feel it? Yes, man. It's good, Miss Moore. And I got two questions, man. Two questions. And the first one's gonna go towards your first poem. I always forget my first question for his first poem, but I kept it in the back of my mind this time. And it says, "Look at me." You know what I'm saying? And it's yelling. And I remember when I was younger, walking across people, I always would take their appearance and let that to formulate my thoughts and ideas about a person. But what he was trying to represent was, when you see somebody, what do you really see? Do you look inside of their heart? Do you see the struggle that they've been through and understanding? So what was the inspiration behind that? Your first poetry. Oh yeah, I'll play. Yeah.
And honestly, all the words are in there. So it's look at me and look beyond what the eyes can see. So we got to look beyond, the eyes and everything else that we've been taught to see, and just look beyond that. This can't be the only way we see, our two eyes. We have to see through our eyes. So that's what I'm, and everything is in there. Look beyond what the eyes can see. So, yeah.
And it's that feeling you got when he was singing his poetry, that feeling that comes inside your heart. You know what I'm saying? You ever feel the coldness in somebody when you look them in the eyes? You ever feel the love and the light that shines? And that's sometimes what the eyes can't always tell you about. But when you begin to look into your heart, you begin to feel a whole new reality of the individual. Now for the last poem, for the ladies, man, not even just the ladies, fellas too, because it's important to recognize where the real beauty comes from. And sometimes, again, society and the media will paint this picture of what beauty is, but they miss the most important part, and that is the heart. That is inside. So break me down for me, how for you going within, how does that help you discover your true beauty as a man in this world today?
Well, let me start with the reason I wrote that poem. I wrote that in a different perspective. As a young man, we were taught to follow lust, and we've had plenty of conversations about that. We're always looking for lust, always looking for the next, and I wrote that in that perspective because I started seeing, especially working with youth, the trauma these young ladies go through. And it's both ways too, but the young ladies hold so much, and I talk about never knew their father, mother, worked double shifts. It's the truth, and it's nothing to say that's right or wrong, but what's guiding the kids if there's no parent at home guiding them, and then that's where they find that emotional connection and the love, the lust, and those things, and then we're guided off and we see how that cycles through. And we talk about kids raising kids, that's a cycle, and it keeps going through, So I wrote that in that perspective of what I have been a part of and had the program I had to break myself from. And the beauty, some of us hold that beauty as to what others think of us when it's really how we think of us. And we have to look in our mirror and look beyond, like the first poem, and see the true beauty within ourselves. Because once we have that true beauty, no one can take that from you.
Everybody give Brother Mike some love one more time, man. Yes. That's how you start a show, folks. We're going to be moving on. How we feeling right now, folks? How we feeling? Yes. You look mighty comfortable right there, brother, huh? That's it. It's like I'm doing some chair yoga, Mr. Rodney Levy there. So next up on the mic, this young brother just had a birthday, so I might need to get some extra love when he comes up on stage. He's officially open mic OG, been with us for over a year now, and he is evolving and expanding each and every day. And he's rocking the t-shirt today. Everybody give some love for Sunlight, the poet. Clap it up, clap it up.
Peace and blessings to my city, Asbury Park, to the kids organization, to the Kula Cafe, James. You know, you got a special place in my heart. Verbal work time. For those who don't know what a poet is, I'm gonna explain to you. That's a person of extraordinary talent. But what's a poet? What's a poet? It's someone who flows with, grows with, explodes with creative thoughts, words that paint, imageries of saints, where literature meets art, poetic incisions from the visions of vocabulary that are released from the soul, as simple as a kind gesture or evil thought portrayed. Symbols don't bring forth truth, but displaying them, conveying them, shows the power of belief created by faith. Whispers in a sullen place, adjectives that put smiles on your face or frowns on your face, entertaining thoughts some displace, lines that bind, intertwine, leaving signs of what's a poet. Now this next poem is kind of special. Anybody can relate to this. It's called Kool-Aid, and I fell in love with it as a child. It's still my drink, so y'all share this thought with me. It's called Kool-Aid. Who can dispute? Fell in love with it as a youth, as I gather many a tooth. Kool-Aid in any flavor, my mouth and tongue savor, sweet is to the taste. In cold or the heat, summertime memories of plastic cups that leak. Kool-Aid, quenching and drenching a thirst. The ingredients, okay, first take your favorite pitcher or container, add water, ice in your favorite flavor, sugar to the taste until a smile is on your face. Babes in Toyland, a place, soup for the soul, the remedy, one of my fondest memories that will never fade. The day I was introduced and fell in love with Kool-Aid. This next poem is called Surprise, poetry jumping out of fate. Here's a surprise. Are you looking for compromise or long-winded sighs and see-through alibis? What's lying is death-defying and tying, not buying, but maybe a little bit of crying. Filling floodgates, I constantly wait for fate to cut me a break. Up very late, looking over mistakes, almond milk for the frosted flakes. Casting culinary creativity, catchy confines, metaphors to poetic lines, words to rhymes, minutes to time, the sun always shines. Polar, solar, holder of a couple tricks up my sleeve. If you can believe the earth has 7 seas, asking the question, who likes hidden fees? Especially convenience of the wise. Maya Angelou, yet still I rise. The motion of poetry that's screaming out, surprise. This next poem is called At It Again. And since, you know, I never give up, so accept what I do. If you can't, then this is for you. At it again. At it again. The best love in life is when you become your best friend. Cause sometimes in life you can't win or have money to lend, but I spend time making poetry that rhymes, feeding of the mind. Metaphors my tool, Olympic swimming pools that welcome you to dive in while I smile and grin. My creativity kicks the doors off its hinge, cause on a binge not to give in, wheel of fortunes I spin. So why y'all think I'm at this again, at it again? This last poem I gotta give this out to my people who are suffering and they still suffering. This is a poem, an irrelevant poem called What If? What if the so-called Negroes were never kidnapped aboard slave ships? What if the American slave master had no chains and whips? What if a native tongue was never severed off? What if they had an accurate number of the lives lost in the slave trade holocaust? What if the slave who was allowed to read and write without having to do it by the secrecy of candlelight? What if a slave's family was kept together instead of sold and ripped apart? What if slaves were treated humanely? Would the American dream have a start? What if a slave could swim 9,000 miles back home? How would the cotton be picked and grown? What if slaves had a luxurious boat ride? Would sharks have eaten so good from the sickness and suicide? What if atrocities and white philosophies to slave descendants over 400 years of hypocrisy, bureaucracy, or a very little or no democracy? What if slavery never exists? Would America been built with persistence or allow resistance? What if? Thank you so much, Sunlight the Poet from now Asbury Park's own. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. This piece right here is entitled What Happened to Us? It goes like this. Is it right? That's all right. I got it. So what happened to us? You were someone that I used to trust. We were like Alpha and Omega, and ashes to ashes and dawn to dusk. Now it's like we never met. We had history together, so tell me, how could you forget? The days and nights we spent enjoying each other's company, when the only thing that mattered the most was me loving you and you loving me, not to mention the passionate sex, the sweat that set the kisses and them hickeys on your neck, total satisfaction without regret. But then that story ended without a part two. Tell me, is this the thanks that I get for loving you? Did I force your hand? Did I give you the impression that you were better off with another man, or was it something that you already had planned? Please help me understand. What happened to us? See, we gave love a whole new meaning. I was addicted to you, you was addicted to me, we were chasing and we were fiending. We were the picture of perfection, but as time passed, our love didn't last, so we both chose to go in different directions. What happened to us? You was always with me when times were hard and things were getting rough. You watched my back and you told me what should or shouldn't trust. As for the sex, all fantasies were fulfilled, including the chocolate syrup, you and the red teddies, and those matching high heels. You gave me more than I expected you to give. You helped me get my pockets right, a nice whip, and a cozy spot for us to live. And you never showed off in public. Whenever I bought you a gift, you would hug and kiss me and say, "Thank you, coffee, it's beautiful," or "I love it." Whenever I was out of town, you held me down and you represented me the fullest and didn't mess around. At least that's what I thought. You were my 7-Eleven, my 4, 5, 6 trips, my all you flush, my flavored ice cream, my straw and slush, my filling and pie crust. My future after my past was done, my raising in the sun, my playmate, my fun. You were my ace of spades if the clubs, damning hearts had been played. My orchestra, my symphony, my lyrics were love ballad with a smooth melody. My quotable quotes, my helping hand, my words, so let I roll. My energy, my faith faithfully, my feelings, my emotions, my love unconditionally, my loyalty, and a major player, my ability to trust. I know a little about a lot of things. When it comes to me and you, I don't know enough. So can you tell me what happened to us? Check this out. Let's talk together. Together. I can see you now, girl, if you got yourself together. Hair done, new clothes, painted toes and sandals. Smelling like a fruity scent every time the wind blows. Horns honking, females mad because of the gear you're rocking. Jokers trying to holler, but you ain't stopping. Gotta keep it moving. It's your turn to do the choosing. Lifestyle to change, now that you're not using. Keep your focus. Forget what the coke and dope is. Go where the love and hope is, because you know what being broke is. You've been there. Messing with them cats who didn't care. Giving a dime for your time, being tricking you out of there, taking shortcuts to the rest, go nowhere. But back on the block, looking for more sniffs and rocks and rumors, get prayed that your head gets your man props. But I can see you now, girl, if you got yourself together. Hair done, new clothes, painted toes and sandals. So like fruity every time the wind blows, horns honking. You must be, because the ear you rocking. Jokers trying to holler, but you ain't stopping. Wearing products, minks, diamond studded, matching links, digging spring water and fruit drinks, doing you can't nobody think. Driving a nice whip, candy apple red, top down, two-door pump, ladies hitting, taking trips, going places, meeting new people with smiles on their faces, kind words and warm embraces. Not letting street life or drugs provoke you, or anybody get close to you again to use, abuse, or hurt you. Nice job, credit card, nice amount in your bank account, more shopping and dining out, nice apartment, and all you had was the first woman to start with. Now your place is laid out to the front and the back. Bleeding, clean, and sober got you that. Now you're praying every night. Your family bond is tight. Your mother and kids ain't afraid to spend the night because they know you're living right. Committed to your recovery. Saying just for the day I'm gonna love me. However, never say never, but don't be discouraged because you're as beautiful as ever. I can see now, girl, if you got yourself together. This last one. It's called Where I'm From. Where I'm from, the hood is alright. The hustle ain't about the muscle if your mouth game is tight. Each block has its own set of rules, and corner cats pay punk dues, and soft crews get abused, and the runners like me, we get used. And nickel and diamonds get played out by the tricks in old timers. So where I'm from is like lightning stick of dynamite, a bee sting or a snake bite, depending on who you are and what you like. Mad drug deals, holes in our heels, tricks seeking cheap thrills, closed sessions with the big boys taking one just straight off $100 bills, stash spots under staircases, rugs, and window sills. Where I'm from, this thing is real. Little kids playing in the schoolyard playground, witnessing things they got no business being around. But meanwhile, in the hood, there's a young girl. She's learning to double dutch and hopscotch. Then there's a young boy who's learning to play marbles and shoot slingshots. But somewhere over the rainbow, an abused kid just turned pro. And so-called crack babies asking questions that scientists don't even know. Giving research and technology about genes that make midgets grow. But yet they criticize the gangs that bang and rip their sets and wear their cousins without shame. But what about the mafia? The Gambinos and the Scarfos, the Castellanos and Lucianos, aren't they gangs? Or is it have a who has the most money thing? See where I'm from? Dude is alright. Dog City, but only at night. Coffee.
How we doing, everyone? Hope y'all having a beautiful time, because I know I am. I'm really absorbing the energy that's in this room today, and I want to give a big shout out to kids, Rodney, Mike, Crystal, all your help for giving me the foundation. Shout out to APTV, Kula Cafe, and I'm gonna put a stamp on this, Asbury Park song. You know what I mean? Proud to say I'm from here. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people are, but I just wanted to let y'all know that I'm gonna go places, and I'm not gonna forget about where I came from. You know. So these two poems that I'm about to share are new. Haven't released them. However, I had to bless the mic in Asbury today. So just bear with me. I may not remember it, so like I may be reading it, and I may have to take some time to, read it. So I call this V for Vendetta. Underneath this mask is an idea that is crucified by the Roman minds of our time. The truth will indeed set you free. I was born perfectly imperfect, just as everyone is, a witness. As the hands of time slip through my very fingertips, I just can't seem to get a grip of time. Time sprinkles itself over as the ashes of our ancestors cry from the calamities that are at hand. I wonder each and every day how long it'll take for my brothers and sisters to realize that we're killing each other. No matter how fast I run, how hard I write, how loud I sing, I seem to end up chasing the memory that made me relapse into these hands of time. 24 hours in a day just doesn't seem like enough. 12 of them alive, 12 of them dead, 12 of them dreaming, and the other 12 of them thinking about how there's never enough time to do what truly makes me happy. Underneath this mask is an idea held captive in the slave ship of my mind. Only 12 more hours before I detonate, and after, death will confiscate our holy bodies. That is no longer a jungle gym for our egos to play. I spend my days banging my head against the walls of this prison, all to spend my nights painting my heart against the walls of this prison. Those nights when it's just me and my pen, no ends to meet, nowhere to go. Those nights when social media becomes my best friend. Every like was a signature on the petition of me taking a life, contemplating suicide, you see. It seems that if life was served to me on a silver platter, and I hate the feeling of all of my friends overwhelming themselves just to climb the ladder of material possessions, less melanin, less melanin, less smiles, more grins. They don't understand that knowledge is the true weapon. Underneath this mask is an idea. Underneath this flesh, there's nothing that separates us. Conjuring through the night, I tiptoe on the glass floors of hell. Each step shatters the pathway that I paved for my people to and from, I pace as to why we don't kiss the ground we walk on. Instead, we use useless apologies as oxygen masks, disregarding the trees. It's because of them that we can breathe. Or how about the bees? It's because of them. Oh, hold on, let me run that back. I messed up. Disregarding the trees is because of them that we can breathe. Or how about the bees that pollinate the vegetation? Without them, we'd be in tales of desperation. I spent my nights dancing with the devil, playing solitaire while my liver bleeds from the liquor, trying to understand why the king has more value than a queen. I come up empty-handed, palms are sweaty, dripping like Niagara. The nervousness of death now excites me and sends chills down my spine. I've been lied to my entire life, analyzing this strife of existence, social classes, inequality, racism, poverty, and the misunderstood. Walking down the street, hood up, mellow wind hits my skin, the smell of vengeance in the air. I come face to face with the night crawlers, and I'm yelling, don't shoot, because I am a victim. But yet the bullets still penetrate my flesh, scraping the walls like Freddy, trying to make my mark on this prism. The schism of life takes the baton and runs in and out of my mind. These words are the swords of my defense mechanism. But that night, an idea was the only weapon that Trayvon had. Because the mind of a child is where a revolution begins. And that's it. Thank you very much. I got one more. This I just wrote recently. This is just some fun. It's real, but it's fun. It was fun for me to play around with words. Okay, so this is called The Ninth Hour. Bang. First of all, everything that we see out of our two eyes is based on a dualistic point of view. So out of every one, there's two. That makes three. 3 perspectives for your 3 eyes just to be taken into consideration. Positive, negative, and neutral. So I just gave you 4 reasons, one for each of the seasons, just to remind you that everything we've learned is a lie. That makes everyone deceived to believe that there's only 4 elements when in reality there's 5. Earth, fire, wind, water, and ether. But in school, they never taught me about the 6 senses either. Now I gotta read. Okay. Hold on, I got it. Taste, touch, smell, hear, feel, and my intuition. Every night I gaze into the stars. That makes 7 days in a week when my bones feel weak from the debris of the education system. I have to align these 7 chakras just to make me well-rounded like the number 8. Turn it to the side and let your infinity decide all of your fate. That brings me to 9, the highest of the numerics. Sometimes we're so high we oversee the sea itself like the seductive mountains. 9 for the amount of times I've cried. 9 is the amount of times I've failed, and 9,000,001 for the amount of times that I've tried again. 9 for the million of times I've sinned. 9 for the millions of times when I've replaced a smile for a grin. 8 for the weight that resides low and behold my slave master's skin. This host only lasts 7 hours. Oh man, this host only lasts 7 hours of me thinking of you, seducing my thoughts. 6 times I made the mistake with the 5th woman this month. 4 for the number of times I've dialed your number, and 3 for the times I've never called. 3 for the times you've never called. 2 for the last 2 words you sent me. I'm leaving. Didn't know how to take it. I was trying to bottle it up, but it was too much. I wanted to be left exposed so you could see the emotion. 1 for the last goodbye you've given me. The loneliest number I've ever known becomes a home that lies within the silence of his heart. Lo and behold, numerics are the true rhetoric. 1 number with 9 million memories until the clock hits 0. The near end is shortly the near future. Bang.
Everybody give some love for the brother Sal Swang. Yes. For my numerologist in the building, that was a beautiful treat, and seeing the essence of the power behind numbers. And I like the little shout out, the chakras to align. And One of our foundations of our summer program is using the chakra as a blueprint to help our students, our youth, bring balance to themselves. And Brother Sal Swain, always so deep, and this man is only, you ain't 19 years young, 18 years old? 18 years old. And this brother's here from Asbury Park. So, Brother Sal, what motivates you to dive deeper within yourself to become more conscious and aware of who you are as a man, and how does that help you in this world we live in today?
Thank you for the question. What motivates me to dive deep is not seeing it enough. You know what I mean? So as I look into the eyes of the people that I see on an everyday basis, they don't seem to dive within themselves enough. They don't seem to be so open as much as I would like to be, whether that's friends, family, people that I see at my job. I try to be the one to take the step for them. You know what I mean? To show them like it's okay to open up and to dive deep. And the first poem was saying underneath this mask, because everyone each and every day they seem to put on a mask. They're not really themselves. They have to go to this job. They have to fulfill a role that they get paid for, and I understand it. But don't let that take that away. Don't let that take that away from who you really want to be. You know what I mean? Don't let time be the only variable and the only factor that takes you away from doing what you really love. So take off the mask. You know what I mean? It's time to break free of ourselves and really dive within. That's it.
Yes. So everybody listen up. Without further ado, please give a nice warm welcome to Miss Latrina. It's her first time blessing the open mic stage. And let's let her feel like she is home. It's that cobra breath, remember y'all?
I like to get.
Let me get this. Yeah.
I like to give thanks and allow everybody for appreciating me to say what I have to say today. I can't hear nothing.
Yeah.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is called My Black History. B is for all God's beautiful black people. L is for the love that I have for all of my black people. A is for Africa, the land in which we all originally came from. C is for the color. What is your definition of the word? K is for all the many kingdoms we once had and may still be able to have. H is for the hurt we have all endured throughout life and society, sometimes even amongst each other. I is for the isolation in which we are still dealing with, being moved into a square mile of a piece of land from owning continents. Many lands that are taken away from us because of, you don't hear me though. S is for all the slavery, sacrifices, for settling. When will it ever end? Maybe, never, now, or when there's a tag hanging from my toe. T is the, T, why is that people we are still tolerating and taking seconds? Tolerating being separate but never equal. I've never believed that a black man was only 3/4 of a human being. How can they be so ignorant not to know that God created not one but all of us in his image? Oh boy, it's getting hot in the Garden of Eden. Oh, I wish one day oppression can really be over. R is for the rights in which we, as the people, are still fighting for every day. And why? There is the question. Why are you upset because I'm black?
Everybody give some love to Miss Latrina as she shares a little bit of her history in being black. And I think it's very important, especially if we look at the world today with all that is taking place and all that's going on, especially in the black community. It can be a very scary time in terms, and I think it's good to have these conversations and talk about it. But before I even go into that, Miss Latrina, my youngins, my kids, you gotta listen. What Beyonce had when we need that listen song? Listen. what does it mean for you, especially right now, as a mother in this society we live in, to be black? Is it beautiful? Is it scary? Is it wonderful? What are your thoughts and feelings?
Well, I can say that it's all the above, because to me right now, in this society, a lot of us, I can say maybe of many color, but especially blacks, we've been so much of endured of isolation that we were once on a continent which we really owned, we all came from, and now you think about it, like Sal, you said about putting a mask on. Well, I just know for me, throughout my years, I've worn plenty masks, and it's time to unveil it. And so many people don't realize that being black, being a single parent, it's hard, it's a fight. And like my brother say, every day is a battle. But I can tell you today, we're all gonna win this war. Eventually, we will. Just keep hope alive, and everybody just rise. Just rise.
Yes, man. Thank you. It can't be scary if you have no connection to yourself. If you only look at the world outside and see the media, what is playing each and every day, from the terrorist attacks, from the police brutality, from the police shootings, it could be very fearful. And it could cause us to want to separate more, want to divide more, hate each other more, become more angrier. But those are the emotions that create more separation and division. And for us as a community and as a people to really bring forth change, like Sal was speaking earlier, Brother Mike was mentioned earlier, is bringing ourselves together back from within first, dealing with our internal emotions and our own personal feelings, and then we have those conversations with the police for the opposite race and generation to see how we can come together. Because the more separation that we have, whether it be race, whether it be politics, whether it be different religions, that is, I just slide that inside here real quick. Politics, not the cereal. Cereal might be coming out soon, but you know, make sure you feed your kids a daily dose if it's sugar-free. But it's real. They try. You see how much they're trying to separate us as people, and people Trump, Hillary. Oh yes, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter. And it's like, are we ever gonna bring things back together that way? Are we ever gonna grow? So if this thing's to take about, can we come back to wholeness opposed to separation? All right, so moving along, everybody give some love for Brother Sean. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Thanks, Michael and Rodney again, kids, Asbury Park TV, James and the Kula Cafe. And thank you, community, for being here. This is what it's all about, coming together. So I know Rodney likes to ask questions after, and my poems are a little longer today, so he's gonna have to pay attention, extra careful too. But the first one, it's really short because I only had this card on me to write it. It's called. This is how I got here. I just a Nissan, my car. It's called ATM. A timeless miracle. I cashed this check from the bank of trees deposited in me, a crow flying free to the waves of the sea, pulsing blood carried by the breeze. This moment is too large a gift for the mind to seize, so I'll just pass it on as God's master degree. Thank you. On to the longer ones. This one's called Archery Range, and if you're curious as to why, I can answer that after, if you want to know. So, Archery Range. I went looking for God on top of the highest mountain. I didn't notice the angel as I drove to the peak, the angel serving refried beans at a Taco Bell to a just-released murderer who couldn't afford anything else, especially peace of mind. Her smile instilled a serenity so deep that he wanted to go back to prison to share it with the other inmates. I didn't notice the Zen priest washing cars at a gas station for the rat poison delivery driver. All I saw was a dirty vehicle. I didn't notice the Buddha and Jesus reading a newspaper on a park bench as two elderly ladies. I only saw an article about cancer. I didn't even find peace at the top of the mountain. And on my way home, I saw a homeless man picking up geese poop around a lake where families walk dogs and children play tag. I asked him for his name, and all he told me was to watch where I step, and to vote for him when he runs for president. I laughed and slipped on some dung. Then I found myself in the shoe. Thank you. This next poem I wrote at a friend's house right after I meditated seemed to sum it up. It's called Blank Canvas. I found a portrait of a stranger resting on the sidewalk. Her hair was long and golden brown, a shiny river flowing like the brush that touched the watercolor she is. On her face was a solemn frown, not the type of crown for this beautiful face upon the ground. I wished and prayed for her to smile today, but still her frown was all I found. Instead, a foggy rain did fall, and I hoped it would wash away the pain I saw within this flower, but only tears began to shower, dripping down her shiny face, dripping down this forlorn place, dripping down my saddened face. I wish that I could erase her sullen lips that pointed down. I wish that I could replace my joy for hers with all its grace. Instead, the rain just carried on, a simple, dreary, empty song. 'Tis then I thought to paint her face, the rain, my blood, a poet's paint. Mixed with tears and sweaty fears, I broke my skin and gave my kin. Carried by the water sounds, an echo cried of spirit found. For as the paint smeared on the ground, a smile did appear so round. And in my heart, I knew this face, a face that I could give my space. Thank you. This one's a little high energy, so I'm not used to this, so I gotta get like Michael at the beginning here. He was going, all right. This one's called Blind Chance Equals No Chance. It's got some numerology, not on par with Sal. That was amazing. Okay. Lucky number 7 was once a 6 and a 5 before that. Now it continues fate so it can move on to an 8. That drug shooting junkie once played a bass so funky that you'd get off your seat and dance like a monkey. But we stole his bass and replaced his face, calling him the monkey as we found him guilty of our crimes. Now he does our time as we watch on so blind. This poem once rhymed a line at a time, but now that we're blind, it searches endlessly, dragging on so sluggishly. Thinking it's a cheetah, lightning strikes so quick it can't even see what it destroys. All that's left is a hole in the ground for dead bodies to be found, piled up in mounds upon mounds, the dirt of our eyes we choose to ignore. I still remember the day I tied a cord around my neck in 7th grade shortly after telling my mom, I don't want to live anymore. Just like the dice, I moved on to grade 8. But do you still see that cord around my neck? Do you see a body or a corpse? Hope or remorse? And how could you see what you didn't know? So just what really do we know? Do you still see the prison in the prisoner? Who built that prison? Who built our prisoner? Our minds did, and they continue to see themselves in each other. So the next time that felony box, the size of a thimble, is checked off by expansive life, so fragile and nimble, the next time that girl without a home shows you the respect of coming to your interview, appearing barefoot because you can't see the shoes of ignorance you have put on her, smelling unclean because you've only cleaned her with assumptions of such, I ask that you please, please, please give yourself a chance. Thank you. Kind of lost the energy that's came back to my space, but this is about that space. This it's kind of my last poem. You'll see what I mean in a minute, but this poem is about that space, and it's called Here, the space that we always are. Beauty is this breath and all its forms, a gentle reminder of this limitless moment. The space of anger, not ignored, but rather explored, instantly transformed to this newborn expression of time stepping on stones, of change reborn. The fingers pressing keys on a phone to the beat of a poem, hand in hand as I touch this wordless. Thank you. And I'd like to share, last to close off, a work of art that's also a poem. It's actually everything. It's simply called The Emptiness of the Enemy. Thank you.
Everybody give some love for Brother Sean. Oh, wait. Two questions. I'll go with the one that the last poem, not the last one, second last poem, where he says, the space of anger, not ignored, but explored. I like that deeply because a lot of times when I used to be young, when I used to get angry, I would do anything to numb that feeling immediately. But as I became older and aware, more conscious, as Mike talks about a lot, is I always try to take the time to understand. But I want to hear from your perspective, what does it mean by not ignoring that space of anger?
To me, not ignoring it is first realizing when you're angry, there's anger. So if you don't understand it, it's going to keep coming around in different forms to different people. So it's not fun to be angry. So for the sake of who you're angry at and yourself, it's better to understand it, because with understanding, it can be removed. But without understanding, it's like ignoring a disease and just letting it fester in your body. And then you're just breeding more anger because you're letting it stay there instead of looking at it so that you can pull it out.
Oh, wait. Oh, here goes cancer. Oh, thanks, anger. You know what I'm saying? Heart disease. Oh, thank you, anger. Appreciate that, too. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I got you, girl. You want to be the MC, too? You got to take the mic, girl. And the other one, my last quote before is, you were talking about the prisoner being in caves, but what thought or what system created the mind of the prisoner? Something, I know it wasn't the exact verbatim of the line though, but can you break that down for me real quick? The line too, I forgot, I didn't say it exactly the way it was.
Find it. I'll probably give you a better answer if I read my words too.
Hey, beautiful. Can't be the wrong side.
So the verse was, do you still see the prison and the prisoner? Who built that prison, who built our prisoner? Our minds did, and they continue to see themselves in each other. And what I mean by that is that a prisoner comes from somewhere, which based on what a prison is, and someone builds that prison before they're there. So it's kind of open, but it's really about how the control we put on people and what we do to them is our responsibility, and we're creating what some people call, oh, that monster in there. It's the monster in their own mind, and not being aware that it's going on in their own mind, which is why I said our minds did, and they continue to see themselves in each other. So when someone sees something or a judgment of someone in such a situation, it's really their responsibility in their own mind, seeing themselves in something they've built that is now reflecting back to them as their own creation.
Okay, yes. I hope you were paying close attention to the words of that word. And it's so true, and those programs are the music industry, the media, you know what I'm saying, even the food industry, and seeing how when you see that song, hear Chief Keef rapping about I'm gonna shoot and rob and do this, and you hear over 1 million records sold, and you wonder why little Johnny walking with his pants sag and want to get a piece, because what is feeding that mind? And now little Johnny's robbing somebody for something to eat, and you're wondering what created this individual? What's the environments that are breeding these? Instead of looking at these are the bad guys, what are making these people bad guys? These are the terrorists, what are turning these people into terrorists? You know what I'm saying? And that's when we start coming to the root of the situation, instead of just blaming, but like Mike said, look beyond the body. See what have they been through? What experiences are creating these individuals, you know, because it's real. And on another note, gotta drop this, I always drop my nutrition facts. This is a very segue side piece, but we talk about terrorism, we talk about police brutality, we talk about police is dying, and people are dying every year. We got about a couple of hundred. But the one thing they don't talk about, and they speak so adamantly that we gotta stop these terrorist acts, we gotta stop these police brutality, we gotta stop these police killings, but they don't ever whisper to you, look at the healthcare industry. How many people are dying every year from heart disease? Anybody want to take a guess? Anybody got a little heart? Yes.
1 million?
Close, very close. 700,000 in America alone are dying every year from heart diseases. Cancer, 550,000. So if they're really about surviving and protecting people and making sure that we do everything in our power to end these wars, why aren't they talking anything about these things? You know, then you start thinking about what's the game that's being played here, huh? Is it really about simply saving lives, or is there a different agenda about why the media creates these stories? Oh, now Black Lives Matter, they're terrorists. And I know someone very closely that's a very honest and sweet, beautiful young man that's just trying to do something right for his people. But you see the games the media tries to play and put into our mind to create more violence and separation and anger. So just some things to think about. Why aren't they talking about these things, you know? But moving along here, don't mind me, I'm just this strange guy. Don't believe a word I tell you though. Do your own research, find out for yourself, ask questions and go deeper within. Get them dips in, brother, get them dips in. That's it. I'm Ronnie Solomon.
I'm Michael Mills. We're at Kula Cafe,
And you're watching APTV.